I'm going to get started on this farce called the TriMet Board of Directors. And as you see, you have to go 18 minutes in before the meeting starts. Uh, why don't they trim it so that it just starts? I mean, even I do that, okay? One guy in a room. Why don't they, with their multi-million dollar IT department, do anything right over there? I mean, it's like the height of sloppiness. There's such a sloppy organization. It just never ceases to amaze me that with all the money they have, all the personnel they have, and they are top heavy with bureaucrats and technocrats over there doing all kinds of weird things that nobody gives a shit about. But they can't trim their meetings. They keep screwing this stuff up. It's just there was an incident that I read on Twitter where a woman was charged like $12 for her hop ticket, and she referred it to the TriMet Help over there on Twitter, and they sent back contact your bank. So they want her to file a credit card dispute to get back her $10, but yet they call all their riders customers. They actually have the nerve to call their captive riders customers. And if they actually were customers, then a general way you have a problem like this, you have the merchant charge it back. And I've done it hundreds of times. The merchants will charge it back to your card so you don't have to pay for it. But here, the TriMet uh, Twitter person says no, contact your bank. So they're just garbage, And their technology is horrible too. If you listen to the calls, it's just they spend millions and millions of dollars on those radios and stuff, and they don't work. The whole place is a disaster area, but they nobody covers it. Nobody covers the disaster. And I just got through discussing with one of the other Twitter guys that does New Jersey Transit. How we're throttled. Nobody can really hear us. We're talking to ourselves over here. And in my case, it's there's like 5 people that I know of that actually care. And I mean, I search out their material, and I imagine they will search out mine. If you specifically look for my blog or my Twitter, you'll find me. But you're not going to find it on a Google search. They don't make it easy to find me. Even when you add search TriMet on Twitter, people, you won't see me, which is it's incredible. Let me show you, for example. Okay, search Twitter TriMet. Okay, now go people. Here's my scanner account. Of course, we don't do anything with that. That's just that we just post alerts on there, so that it's just actual alerts. Here's this guy. This guy hasn't posted in forever. I know who. When was the last time he posted? Let's look. 2020. So he hasn't posted since 2020. Oh wait, here's 2021. So he hasn't posted in over a year. Here's TriMet MaxFax hasn't posted in fucking a decade, I think, which was a blog that I played a part in starting this blog, but it wasn't my blog, but I helped get it going. She hasn't posted since 2015. And then you have all these other ones here, but you won't see me. You don't see me. And do you see what's the one PDX scanner? No, you don't. You don't see the people who are actually look at this one. Transit is unsafe. He's 0 followers. 0 followers, and yet he's listed there. And he hasn't tweeted any. Oh, look, he's got. I'll tweet. He hasn't tweeted since 2021. So my point is that I'm throttled. I'm the one guy that does most of the TriMet stuff on the internet. Okay, I'm one guy that spends a significant amount of my day doing TriMet. It's like an actual hobby for me. You don't even see Jason McHuff on that, you know? You don't even see him when you look. Did you see Jason? No, you didn't see him. Here's my shadow ban. I'm banned. I'm banned for Sig Church. I'm ghost banned. I don't know. I guess I don't know, but I already knew that I was more or less what do you call it? This guy is so funny. This New Jersey Transit route zone is so cool. So I don't know, what was my point? I forgot. Oh, leader in technology, right? Their technology is crap, and there's only a few people reporting about it. But you can't find our material unless you know who we are. And yes, the internet has turned into a, luckily for me, I don't care. It was, for me personally, it was never about followers or likes or whatever, thumbs up, whatever fucking shit. I was never about that. I was never about popularity. I always have been doing this because I like it. Okay, as bizarre as that sounds, I've been somehow obsessed with this TriMet material for quite a few years, and I still am. It's just part of my routine. So anyway, yeah, I was talking about why there's this 18-minute gap here when some idiot like me could fix that in 2 seconds. But these people in their multi-million-dollar goddamn offices can't do it. It's just incredible.
So we do ask for those who do speak to limit their comments to 3 minutes, and we're going to begin. And the first person, and I'm going to give two names, so two people will come up at a time.
Oh, there's going to be
and the
speakers,
first
huh?
person is Lane Schaefer, and is it Maya Vasquez? Yes, thank you. So first is Lane, and do you pronounce your name Maya? Okay. Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, TriMet Board. Thank you for providing space for public comment at this meeting. My name is Lane Schaefer, and I'm a senior at McDaniel High School. I'm here with Opal PDX to recommend that you reconsider.
See, where's the goddamn sound? You can't even get this right. For Christ's sakes, what is this? This is a Mickey Mouse operation.
Fair increase for TriMet because of the negative impact it would have on my community and the broader Tri-County area. While Portland Public School students are lucky enough to have access to free transit passes during the school year,
Okay, it was his fault.
Portland Public School students are lucky enough to have access to free
Although, why is he at the microphone should just be on.
transit access during the school year, other school districts such as Reynolds, Park Rose, and David Douglas do not. The current fare price is already a burden for young people who need to get to school, doctor's appointments, extracurriculars, and employment. I relied on transit to get to school for 5 years, and it was clear then that students were struggling to pay the fares. In the wake of COVID-19, the last thing people need is an increase in fares. For a working adult, $1.25 may not seem significant, but it adds up for a young person and their family. Additionally, as we work to bring ridership back to its pre-COVID levels, a fare hike is not the right decision. We should be incentivizing people to...
How does he know that? Oh, that's right. They already had the other meeting where they talked about they're going to do a fare hike.
to ride transit, not driving them away with increased fares that further impede their ability to ride transit. Increasing fares would also not align with Portland's climate goals of reducing carbon emissions and getting more people to utilize mass transit. We want people out of cars and onto the bus, MAX, and streetcar. Why would we increase fares and give them one more reason to stay in cars? I would implore you to consider every possible funding stream before proposing an increase in fares. This would be regressive and discourage people from riding transit, as well as increasing barriers for low-income folks, especially young people. I understand the difficulties of balancing a budget with competing interests, but an increase in fares is not the right answer. We should be working towards a fareless system, step by step. The high school summer pass pilot program was one step forward, and we should continue to improve upon that by reducing fares, not increasing them. Just because there may not be comparable transit agencies with free systems doesn't mean we can't lead the way and work towards a fareless system that is efficient, equitable, and environmentally conscious.
Exactly.
Thank you for your time and considering the impacts of increasing fares on our most vulnerable populations.
Thank you. Stop being so, don't be so goddamn polite. You know, when and if I'm going to come back there, I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to get back there because I have a family problem here. Uh, but when and if I get back there, I might go back to one of these board meetings.
Thank you, Lane. Maya?
Hello, everyone. My name is Maya, and I'm community organizer with Bus Riders Unite at Opal Environmental Justice Oregon. And I want to echo the sentiments of Lane, my colleague here. So I was disappointed and very concerned to hear that TriMet had been having conversations about raising fares in the coming year, and that these conversations have started without any community input or much transparency at all.
Yep.
It's my biggest hope that TriMet will do right by the communities that it serves. And
TriMet will not do right by you. They never have. They never will. You have an unelected, unaccountable technocracy running that place and a board of sock puppets that's just there to rubber stamp whatever the technocracy wants.
and not consider raising fares until every other possible alternative has been explored.
But they can't find the money. They have $1.9 billion budget, $700 million of which goes for running your system. So they have over $1 billion of money that they don't use for running the system. But we don't have any money.
And that any conversations involving fares have an open space for comment and engagement from riders themselves. Additionally, as a person who serves on the Transit Equity and Advisory Committee, I would really hope to see the implementation of a fairless research subcommittee to explore pathways to subsidizing fare, something that our communities have been asking for a long time. And
maybe you can change your name to Ukraine and you can get billions and billions and billions without any conditions. Here, take this money. Here, it's yours. Go kill some people. Endless money for killing. Zero money for you.
And I think that that's a much bigger first step that needs to happen as soon as possible before we even consider raising fares. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Next is Lee, is it Helfin? And Tristan Isaac.
All right. So finally, Bus Riders Unite and Opal has finally shown up again. I've been wondering where they've been. They've been awfully quiet.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'll start out if that's okay. Good morning, everyone. So good to see you all. My name is Lee Helfand, and I use they, them pronouns. I am the Executive Director of Opal Environmental Justice Oregon.
This is their new director.
And I'm here to speak on the fare strategy sessions that have been taking place. I'm extremely disappointed that as soon as the world begins to reopen, this board immediately brings the idea of a fare increase to the forefront.
Bingo!
This is an item that should not even be on the table.
Bingo!
So many of the people who have sustained our communities throughout this pandemic are still struggling as inflation rises and we continue to face ongoing public health crises, like the fires that have raged recently. Transit-dependent folks, many of whom are frontline workers and have been called heroes over the past few years, now must face the reality that their transit leaders are considering putting their livelihoods at stake with a fare increase.
Bingo.
The communities Opal represents through bus rider organizing, BIPOC communities, low-income communities, youth and elders, folks with disabilities, and so many transit-dependent folks will be impacted worse by fare increases, which makes it even more concerning that this topic is being explored. This agency has historically enjoyed paying homage to accessibility and equity, but we know that fare increases both decrease accessibility and are an assault on the idea of a truly equitable system.
Yep.
Additionally, several community advocates, myself included, have asked TriMet staff in the TX space for an exploration of fares and opportunities to go fareless to create a vision for a truly accessible transit system. Yet still we do not have a research committee formed. The process for this important discussion is already concerning for community advocates. No community members have been engaged in this process, yet a request for revenue-generating recommendations has already been called for. We cannot put additional burden on people who are already the most impacted. In the coming months, we expect each of you, as community leaders, to demand that committees get to fully vet this process and these ideas to make formal recommendations to you all, demand a fairless research subcommittee, demand alternative sources of funding be explored, demand extensive and transparent community engagement, and stop any further discussions of a potential fare increase. We will be here at every meeting, and we will be on the buses talking to community members about how this leadership body has actively explored taking their hard-earned money out of their pockets.
Good for
Thank
you. Finally, they're finally getting active again. Because this board is out of control, okay? They're not, the board and the management has completely lost its way here, and there's nobody calling them out.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning to the TriMet Board of Directors. My name is Tristan.
I always liked this guy. Apparently his Twitter account got suspended. Maybe he can come back now.
He and pronouns. I am the on the steering committee of Bus Riders Unite, and I'm also the vice chair of the Opal Board of Directors. In honor of Halloween, I'd like to dedicate my testimony today to something that scares me. Indeed, it should scare everybody in this room. What scares me is when a public agency that provides an essential service contemplates hiking passenger fares on the eve of what is likely to be a historic recession and in an era of avaricious landlords raising rents and inflation driven by corporate greed.
Absolutely.
Workers are already facing numerous burdens, and a fare hike would only make things worse, increasing costs for low-income families and driving many into further poverty and homelessness. A fare hike is also not in line with our region's climate change goals, as it would drive many people from public transit, which, as we all know, is a key strategy to mitigating climate change, air quality issues, and many, many other factors. Instead of raising fares on its most vulnerable riders, people who rely on transit every day, TriMet should explore alternatives as a...
Yeah, they should be lowering fares, especially since their service is trash. Okay, you should be giving it away because it's so fucking unreliable. When you get your goddamn staffing levels straight, then you can start charging again. In the meantime, it's just plain out extortion. It's plain out theft.
Transit districts, TriMet has many options for raising additional revenues, such as further taxes on businesses or property taxes. All this is outlined in TriMet's founding legislation. Instead of a fare hike, TriMet should be exploring the possibility of going fareless, which would increase accessibility for many people throughout our region and is more in line with TriMet's stated goals of equity and accessibility.
Yeah, they say that, but there's nothing equitable at all at TriMet. We know that, those of us who pay attention.
I know that the response to our testimony today will be that TriMet is only talking about raising fares, and it's not set in stone. But
actually, it is set in stone. If you'd watch that whole presentation that I just did, you will see that it is set in stone. They will be raising fares.
The agency with a record on public involvement as shady as TriMet, we know that talking about can quickly become doing without
That's right.
The proper...
Did you hear what he just said? An agency with a public, what did he say, shady history of public involvement, that's for sure.
Public outreach. So my call to you today is don't talk about a fare hike. Don't think about a fare hike. Don't even let the thought cross your mind. We need a fareless system, and we need it now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Abby Griffin and Lou Church.
Oh, Lou Church. Now, how do I know that name? Oh, like a blind woman. Now, these people that are this disabled absolutely positively should have fare free. Absolutely. No exceptions. Okay, if you're this disabled, you should not be having to pay TriMet anything to use the system. The fact that they're even using the system is amazing.
Here, right in front of you. Yes.
Can you sit down? Good morning, everyone. My name is Abby Griffith, and I am Bus Riders Unite community organizer. And when I heard about TriMet is discussing about increasing fare, it shocked me.
Look at this. Look at this. You're going to increase this woman's. Do you see what sociopaths you are? Can you even fathom your own sociopathy? How mentally ill you are, you board of directors and you technocrats. You are psychopaths, man. You prey on the rest of us.
Because we know that people who ride a bus are poor, like low income person with disability.
That's right. I call them the bus people. It's a whole segment of society. They're like the lowest economic strata of our society. And they're stuck on the transit system. They're stuck on the neoliberal hell called TriMet.
Disability like me, elderly and younger people who cannot afford to own a car, and putting more burden on those people who cannot already pay like $5 a day pass is a struggle for most of us. And trauma is disgusting to increase fare is, I think, is concerning because I feel like a lot of regions and transportation agencies exploring fare-free and the trying to increase fare is it shouldn't be option for us to get money from our community who can't already like pay $5 fare for a day. They should explore more different resources to do that.
Yeah, what they need to do is get rid of that fucking capital projects monster. Redirect that money to the human beings of the area that needs the transit.
I want to tell my story about on the bus because I take TriMet bus every day to get around. And a couple of months ago in July, Killingsworth on Albina and Killingsworth Street, I was taking number 4 bus. I was going only 2 stops, but my bus pass didn't have a money, and I told driver I will put more money, but I don't have money now. And driver told me too bad, and she tried to kick me off a bus.
There you go, kill them all. Now this is what this is the part of public transportation that gets zero discussion. The brutality of some of the people behind the wheel. Zero discussion in the public discourse. I know about it because I've been involved with this. 20 years I drove, and I've been following this stuff for 30 years.
And my first concern was that I don't want to...
Can you imagine somebody that cold-hearted to actually say no to her? That's hard to even imagine, right? Can you be that fucked up of a human being to be a bus driver, and she comes up to you looking at like her, asks you for a ride, and you say no? My Lord.
Put driver in risk if...
Not only would I have given her, back in the day, I would have made sure she had a day pass every day when we could still get the codes. I had a whole bunch of people that I made sure had day passes because we had the day codes 10 days ahead of the days. So there was a bunch of us drivers that used to punch our transfers and hand them out ahead of time.
Any passenger on the bus get angry at driver or something, something could be quickly escalate. So I pull out my iPhone and paid fare. But at that moment, I was thinking about people who don't have iPhone or Apple Pay to do that. Even though I have to pay more than reduced fare for person with disability, I feel like that put me in distress, and it made me think about what if other communities can't pay and do that, and they get kicked off a bus.
Yes, that's right. They complain about the fare evaders all the time. I want to tear my hair out, which I have no hair, but I'd tear it out if I had it.
Anything happens to drivers. It's protecting drivers. Fare should be free, not increasing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abby. Lee?
Go help her, somebody. What's he doing? Oh.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Who is this guy?
My name is Lou. I'm with Portland State, Portland Gray Panthers and Transit Riders Union. First, I wanted to say that I appreciate Bus Riders Unite for demanding as well as politely requesting review of the proposed fare hike. As an organizer for a while on TriMet issues, particularly with Mary Botkin and ATU, it's really important to have more transparency, accountability by the agency. I did bring some prepared remarks. I'll try to keep those under 3 minutes. We've done this at City Council quite a bit. They call me Lazarus, but in Espanol, my name is Luis Iglesia, or Lou, L-E-W. I'm coordinator of Portland Gray Panthers, G-R-A-Y. I'm passing to the members of the board here some flyers on TriMet. With 3 minutes and the board's indulgence, I'm going to talk about transit justice, democracy, and a bit about Portland Gray Panthers. Here are folks and issues Gray Panthers support now, today. Joanne Hardesty for Portland City Council, Tina Kotek for Oregon Governor, Catherine McMullen for Clackamas County Clerk, Sharon Myron for Multnomah County Chair. For ballot measures, the Panthers also support charter reform in Portland now, pass M114 for better gun laws now, punish lawmakers who walk out in Salem, and ERA, eviction representation for all, for May 2023 ballot. On TriMet itself, Roberta Allstott, who I met this morning briefly, in an article in New Oregonian says that TriMet is not a social service agency. If a houseless woman spends 200 days in jail for not paying a $3 fare, too bad. Evidently, that's just the price of living in Trump's neoliberal economy, even in a neoliberal transit agency.
Wait, don't blame Trump for this, okay? This is TriMet, and it's TriMet's fault, and it's not Trump, okay? Let's not go that crazy here.
Portland, Oregon. Crime, as we know, is also a problem inside and outside buses, MAX, and the streetcar. Fix it. At Portland State, between Jason and me, dating to Fred Hansen, we've been to 36 TriMet board meetings, so
Wow.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I've seen this guy. I definitely recognize his name.
Post-pandemic. They call me Lazarus for a reason. Xander, 22, our best transit riders union organizer at Portland State, a double major at Portland State in econ and poli-sci, talks about TriMet this way, quote, if I'm going to vote my slate to be elected to the TriMet board, I'd vote for Joanne Hardesty, Carmen Rubio, Sharon Gary Smith, Candace Avalos, Duncan Huang, Ashton Simpson, and Con Pham. But I can't vote, Xander's written, because the TriMet board's appointed, not elected. I could write in the name of that famous slaveholder, Thomas Jefferson, but I can't because there's no ballots. Instead, Xander says, there's just PR from Bernie Bottomley's evil twin, Roberta Allstott, that TriMet isn't a social service agency, ipso facto. Xander...
Not only is Roberta Allstott, well, you know how I feel about her. She actually perjured herself to make sure that Lane Jensen got convicted. He didn't get convicted, and his charges were ultimately dismissed. Okay, but they put him through hell based on a lie. She's the one that did it. So I have no liking for her. She's trash. She's trash.
Also notes that he's pre-law. Thanks for listening.
Oh, that was good.
Thank you.
That was good. Those were good testimonies. What are you going to say, Sammy? Oh, is that Roberta?
Thank you for the opportunity to address.
She doesn't get a chance, okay? She's a technocrat. She's a bureaucrat. She's
Justice. My quote in the Oregonian did say TriMet is not a social service agency. That's where it ended. I said nothing about a homeless woman being cited.
Okay, no, she didn't say that, but we know who you are, Roberta, okay? We already know that you're capable of perjury. No, she didn't say that, and I read the article. She, in fact, did not say anything about that. Absolutely. But we know who you are, and we know what you think.
Thank you.
They let her defend herself. Poor Roberta. She looks like hell, doesn't she?
The next two individuals who have signed up
Wow.
are Ellie, and Ellie, I can't read your last name. There you are. And Kevin, is it Apopo? Okay, Kevin's not here. Okay. We'll check. There's another person after Ellie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ellie Kulhusky. I use she, her pronouns. I am the campaign organizer at Opal Environmental Justice, and similar to my colleagues, I'm here to address the recent discussions that have taken place around implementing a fare increase. I'm extremely alarmed by these discussions for a variety of reasons, but I will summarize them briefly. First, it is concerning that these discussions have been held in strategy sessions, which are live streamed but include no option for public comment.
Yep.
Sorry. And the fact that fares are not included on the board schedule today furthers that lack of community engagement. Increasing fares is a choice that deeply impacts the day-to-day lives of the community that you serve, and it is completely unacceptable that conversations about our livelihoods are taking place without our ability to interject. We deserve to have a seat at the table whenever a discussion around fares is taking place, and we demand transparency in the information sharing process and the timeline of the decision-making process starting today. Second, I recognize that an official fare increase proposal has not yet occurred, but I'm extremely concerned about the language that many of the board members used in the last strategy session.
Good for her. She saw it. She watched it. It was definitely, we're going to do a fare increase. That's what that strategy session said.
Including the board president herself. The fact that the board has even entertained a fare increase as an option demonstrates that TriMet is more concerned about its status as a business over the well-being of the community members that it is tasked with
Don't forget the AAA bond rating.
serving. A fare increase would directly impact the lives of our most marginalized community members and those that Opal stands with. A fare increase would have harmful ripple effects that would spread throughout our entire town and would directly harm my personal community and family. A fare increase would only make transit in this town less accessible, and ridership will only decrease if fares are increased. It is time for TriMet to demonstrate that they center care for the community over their business gains by doing the in-depth research and work to examine all other possible funding sources. A fare increase should not be the first and only solution on the table. Finally, what our community is actually asking for is an implementation of a fareless system. I am calling on TriMet to prioritize the creation of a working group to explore how to make the system fareless. This is what it would take for TriMet to truly demonstrate that they prioritize accessibility, climate goals, and well-being of their riders over everything else. As Lee mentioned before, we will be at these board meetings moving forward. We're watching, and we will not stand by as decisions that impact our lives are made for us.
I might start donating to you now that you're taking some act. You know, I stopped donating to you because you haven't done anything. You guys used to be my heroes.
Instead of by us. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have a virtual person commenting today, Stephanie Frederick.
What? What's this? Where? How are they doing this? What the heck? What? What are you talking about? They haven't. It's not a proposal. Remember, it's a. Here, we're throwing it out here, so you can't support anything yet. So what is this? This is some kind of a plant. What neighborhood? Brentwood? I don't know enough. I don't know enough about that area. Yeah, plant. How'd
Thank you,
get that?
Stephanie. Appreciate it. Let's see if Kevin is here yet. No. Okay. So, seeing no other individuals signed up to testify,
Well, that
I'll
was
close the public forum, and we'll move right.
That was a real treat. Finally a decent public comment session where BRU has stepped up to the plate. Congratulations to you guys. Keep on their ass, guys. Don't let them do it.